Hello, my African people, man. Well, I just come down for a quick note. There are certain things I feel like we as Africans we need to be aware of. Okay, let's go back in 2011. With Gaddafi, what happened to his country, basically. Right now, when you ask the Libyan people, they will tell you they're better off with Gaddafi than the way that their country is right now. You know, so to me, African problem is for the African people to solve. We shouldn't let outsiders to come and then solve our problem for us. They don't even solve our problem. They just create more problems. You know what I mean? Because they don't want us to be where we're supposed to be, basically. They don't want Africa to be united. Because when Africa is united, then that threatens their economy, basically. Because when you look at the vision that Gaddafi had, Gaddafi was, working on making Africa to be united. He was working on to have a currency backed by gold that we could have trade with like within Africa. So this vision is something that that like the American people feel like it threatens their dollar. The French feel like this threat, it threatened the how to call it like the CFA. Because when you look at it like the American dollar basically, back in the days they also used to back their dollar with gold. So when they couldn't do it, anymore, they have to approach Saudi Arabia to make a deal with them so that Saudi can sell their oil in gold. Can sell their oil in dollars. That will make them to be able to buy oil with their own printed money. You see, that's an advantage for them. So everyone else need to change their money from their currency to dollars. That give them more power, basically. So when you look at it like exports and like most of the trades are done in dollars. So if Africa would have its own single currency backed by gold, that's not good for the dollar. So basically they feel like we need to do something about this. And then when you look at the French as well, because when you look at it, these 14 countries, like that the French created the CFA in, they have to deposit, like their, like foreign reserve from 50 to 65%, in the French treasury. So for example, now, if this currency is being created, and now all the African people are trading with that currency, what's going to happen to the CFA? There'll be no more CFA. There'll be no more like 50 to 65% of the foreign reserve of those 14 countries to go to France. So that will affect their economy as well. And another thing as well is like they wanted to be in control of the oil in Libya. And then now they control 35% of that. And they're selling oil and then they don't have any oil in France. So things like this. So we as Africans, we need to be aware of these things. We need to open our ears. We need to try and make our own research. We need to educate ourselves. Right now, we got another leader that just came in again. He got a similar vision. So now, what they are trying to do bit by bit, they wanted to try to tarnish his image. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that they will have a way. But we shouldn't let them. Because the thing is, African problem is African problem to solve. If for the African people to solve. So basically, we should not allow them to be like, okay, we have to go and do this for Africa. When I watch, like the hearing of the American Senate, Langley was saying that, now the terrorists are in Africa is raised by 40%. Because they wanted to put stuff in our head so that they will have an excuse, like for them to have their military bases in Africa. They wanted to put stuff in our head to show us that they're coming in there to help us because Africa is in trouble. When you look at it, most of the countries with natural resources, are in problems. All the countries that that could have made Africa to be great, they're all been destroyed. And then the question is, who is behind that? Who is behind that, basically? And then when you go back in Libya, that 144 tons of gold and similar in silver, where is that? It's been disappeared. So at the end of the day, let's open our eyes. We support Africa, and then we work on the unity of the African continent. It will be something that's gonna help us. It will be something that will make us to be respected, because we can see even our presidents are not respected by the West. But then they need to come out of their comfort zone. They need to face their fears. They don't know how powerful they are until they started using the power that they have. Then they will see. It's like when you attack somebody all the way to the wall and then the person doesn't have anywhere else to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, then he have to move to defend himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, so then you will realize whether the person is powerful or not, But if he doesn't use it and then it's just be there like that, oh, please, sorry, and then begging you, you will just use that weakness against that person and do whatever you want to do. So we are a powerful continent. We need to know that. We need to believe in ourselves and then start working on our African interests as well. And then not to let the outsiders to come in and decide what is going to happen in Africa. If we think we have a problem with Ibrahim, let's go and then deal with it. But not the outsiders to come in and deal with it for us. Because these people, they didn't come to do anything good, All what they wanted to do is to destroy, you know what I mean? Like, because the more they destroy Africa, the more they will be able to go in there, get our natural resources the way that they want it, either in the hands of the rebels or in the hands of the mercenaries that they create. We need to open our eyes and then work on being one country, one nation, one currency.